Hey San Antonio, it's Liza King with I Need Answers, the ABZs of real estate. And with me today is Alan Trout. He's a wonderful inspector. I've used him for a lot of my clients and they love him. And I wanted to bring him on board because we had a couple of questions from some viewers, and thank you for sending these in. And Alan, the first question is, why do I need an expansion tank on my water heater, even if it's an electric one? Do I need it?
Well, that's a good question to start off first. But expansion tanks came into plumbing code in 2006, and they were introduced to protect the pressure reducing valves on the supply systems. The only thing that expansion tank is there to do is protect the pressure reducing valve.
Okay.
So whether it's electric or gas, water expands in the tank, and that expansion tank absorbs that expansion so it does not force water out through the pressure reducing valve and damage it.
Okay. I hope that answered your first question. The next question is, the older house I want to buy does not have the arc fault circuit interrupter. Seller said he won't do it because it's very expensive. Should I buy the home and can I do it later? Now, first explain, what is the arc fault circuit interrupter?
Arc fault circuit interrupters were introduced in National Electric Code for the first year in 2001. And what they were designed to do is if you had a frayed cord and it was arcing to ground, it would sense that arc and shut down that circuit.
Okay.
Okay, so it was to prevent fires. They were pushed heavily by the insurance industry. Well, since 2001, arc fault circuit interrupters have expanded. Today, almost all outlets in the house have to be either arc fault protected or ground fault protected. Now, an older home, it's not practical, and when I say older home, anything from the mid-60s through the early 80s, it's not practical to install arc fault circuit interrupters because it will cause, well, you'll have to rewire, you have to put a new panel in, and that's where the expense comes from.
Got it.
It would not be, for me, it's not a deciding factor into the purchase of a home. There's many more important things like foundation and roof and heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system. It's not unsafe, it's just not as safe as a modern house. And we get that a lot of times.
Right.
Now, a mid-90s house could probably be brought up to the current standards much more easily. The panels are larger, they'll accept the modern breakers, and it could be done. And it would still cost a little bit of money, but it's not nearly as bad, and yes, you can upgrade that later. They do have some disadvantages. Arc fault breakers tend to trip. Anything that has got a brushed motor can trip the circuit. So a lot of times your circuit breaker will trip and you don't know why, and you may have been using a vacuum cleaner or a treadmill or something like that, and that will cause the problem.
Right.
And so sometimes they're kind of a pain in the neck. So by no means do I think you should make a determination on buying a house just because it doesn't have arc faults.
Okay.
So
that's a great answer. Thank you. I know that they wouldn't be tripping at my house because I don't have a treadmill. So that's a good thing.
I don't either.
We walk outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very active. So Alan, thank you so much for being here today and for answering these questions from our viewers. I appreciate it. I hope to have you on board another time once we get some more questions.
Anytime.
Thank you, San Antonioers. And those are the ABZs of real estate. See you next week.
Bye.